Can I start?
Yep, go ahead.
All set, go ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you. Before I open the hearing for the Barnstable Conservation Commission, I would like to ask Angela to do a roll call for the quorum purpose.
Thank you, Tom. Tangney, present. Sampu,
Present.
Lee,
Present?
Kashulik,
Present.
Hearn,
Present.
DeMello,
Present.
Abadili,
Present.
Administrator Ed Hoops,
Present.
and Staff Member Kim Kavanaugh.
Present.
We have a quorum, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. First of all, today is the first day of the Chinese Lunar Year, and this is the year of the horse. So happy Chinese New Year. Acting under the provisions of Mad General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, and or Chapter 237 of the Code of Town of Barnstable, the Barnstable Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, February the 17th, 2026, at 6:30 p.m. for the applications of Pamela Robinson, Donna Hardy, Robert J. Ford IV, and Thomas P. Rams, Gregory J. and Julianne P. Pintos, trustee, JDC Ocean Avenue Realty Trust. This hearing is being recorded and broadcast on the Town of Barnstable's Government Access Channel. The plans and application are on file and may be reviewed by scheduling appointments by sending emails requests to @hoops at 230 South Street, Hyannis. In accordance with the Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Section 20, please let the chair know if anyone is recording this hearing. Hearing none. Tonight's hearing agenda is posted on the town's website. On the agenda, next to each application is the amount owed to the Town of Barnstable for the cost of advertisement. Please send your check to the Conservation Division at 230 South Street before the hearing. Remote participation. The Conservation Commission's public hearing will be held by remote participation as a result of an act extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, signed up by the governor on March 28, 2025, suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law. Remote public access to this hearing shall be provided in the following manner. 1, the hearing will be televised via Xfinity Channel 8 or High Definition Channel 1072. It may also be accessed via Town of Barnstable's Government's Access Channel. 2, the real-time public comment can be addressed to the Conservation Commission utilizing the Zoom link 849-0023-3850 or use the toll-free phone number 888-475-4499 as shown on the agenda. 3rd, the public can also email the comments to edwin.hoops@barnstable.gov at least 8 hours prior to the hearing. Tonight, we have 2 RDA. The first one is Pamela Robinson's remove and replace the existing deck located at the back of the property for a new 20 by 30 foot deck at 70 Maple Street, West Barnstable, as shown on the Assessors Map 132, parcel 01-002. Thayan, am I right? Is that Thayan? Or Pamela, the homeowner, who is representing this application?
It was supposed to be somebody from PLJ Carpentry, but I don't see anybody.
Let's hold this off until they show up. Let's go to the second one. It's Donna Harding installed 22 push piles along the right side and in front of the main home interior, and install 5 foundation push piers along the south main side of the garage exterior and replace 8 existing deck support at 726 South Main Street, Sandyville, as shown on the Assessors Map 0x6 parcel 082. I have to recognize Jeff first. Jeff?
Conflicted on this application, Thomas.
So Jeff is recusing himself from these applications. John. John McLaughlin from Groundwork. Anyone representing the second RDA?
For Donna Hardy.
Huh. Interesting. Ed, you don't see them, right?
I'm going through again. I don't see anybody. Is there anybody here for Donna Hardy, 726 South Main Street?
Hi, this is Masood with Groundworks. Carlos and I are here.
Okay. Do you want to talk about your project or just take questions?
Carlos, can you hear us?
I can see Carlos.
Can you hear me okay now?
Yes.
Okay, I apologize. Happy New Year, Mr. Chairman.
Happy New Year.
Well, I guess we'll take questions at this point.
I have a question.
Okay. Any questions, John?
Yeah, explain to me what these push piles are, and because I'm not quite familiar with them. Maybe you could just help me understand a little bit better. Did you get the question, Carlos?
Carlos, did you hear the question?
Yes.
Okay.
So we're installing push piers. Basically, we're going to push into the ground all the way to load-bearing strata and put a bracket under the footing to support the foundation of the property that is currently settling and or sinking into the ground.
Okay.
Carlo, is the function of that similar to a helical piles?
Yeah, it's a similar process. We could also do helical piers from the exterior, but given the obstructions on the exterior, we're doing it from the inside, except for the 5 piers that you mentioned in the garage. Those are the only 5 piers that will be done from the exterior. Same process that a helical pier would use, but we will use a hydraulic machine to push them into the ground.
Yep.
And again, we will go all the way down to bedrock or load-bearing strata. It becomes a permanent solution.
Okay. Okay.
Tom Lee, I'm not familiar with these. You're okay with this, Tom Lee?
Yeah, I'm okay with this. The function, I mean, they call it slightly different. Usually, we have seen the helical piles as the structural support of the building. So it's a similar.
You're
function.
okay with this, Tommy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other question from the commissioner?
I don't understand how this works. I mean, I understand the helical pile. I've done plenty of them, but the question is, how do you get this under the footing? Or is this just a 4-foot wall?
Masood, do you want to jump in?
Sorry, I was muted for a second. So, Robert, good question. Typically, to get this bracket, this L-shaped bracket underneath the footing, we will dig out until we get to the bottom of that footing. So we will dig out with a mini excavator or hand dig to get to the bottom of the footing to install this bracket. And this bracket is an L-shaped bracket that goes underneath and sits right underneath the footing. And that's when the push piers here, for example, will send pipe, galvanized pipe, down into the ground until we get the resistance that's required to uphold the structure and prevent any further settlement.
Mr. Chairman, we submitted a video that shows the process. I don't know if you guys had a chance to look at it, but the video that we submitted is a short video showing an actual installation of the push piers.
Do you have an estimated depth of what this is going to be? Like how deep you're going to push these things down?
It varies from pier to pier. We come equipped to go the distance if we have to. Usually, based on our data, we go down between 4 and 8 feet. But in some instances, as as deep as 10, 15 feet if necessary. Every single pier must hit load-bearing strata before we stop.
Have you guys done this before in this area?
We have done it throughout New England.
New England's one thing, but Cape Cod's another, especially Barnstable. Just because you're on a sandbar. I've dug holes 16, 30 feet deep, and it's pure sand.
Yep. We've done work in Cape Cod in the past, of course, and every single time that we have done a project in Cape Cod, we have reached a load-bearing strata. Again, we don't for the client, we don't charge additional if we have to go 4 feet or 20 feet.
Okay. Because I think depending on the soil, depending on the soil material stuff, you may have to go a little bit deeper than what you think is. So
and if we have to, we will.
Yeah. So, Bill.
Yeah, I went online and I had never heard of a push pier, and there are many articles, and they compare helical piles with them, and it seems like a very legitimate tool. But I was wondering about how deep it would be, and I know that there were pictures and diagrams and whatnot. It looked like you could drive down 20 feet, and people have done that, but again, this is a sand pile we are on, so hopefully you will find a load-bearing strata down there.
I agree with you, and like I said, we provide lifetime warranty when we do these types of jobs. So our crews are equipped to go the distance if they have to. And so we have found in some instances where all the piers are, let's say, about 4 feet, except for one or two that may have to go 20 or 30 feet. And that's what we have to do.
Well, so long as you understand that possibility.
Okay.
Yeah. I know it is a bit. I know the house is built on a sandbar, basically. So, yeah, we come equipped to deal with challenges like that.
But the real question for us, is there an environmental impact of one versus the other, Tom? I don't know enough about it.
Yeah.
No, I don't
What's
think
the environmental issues?
No, I don't think that it has any environmental issue because it's depending on how deep they have to go to below the ground to get the refusal or to get the support of the soil.
Okay.
So
thanks.
My only other concern is what is the you said galvanized, right? How does that do with salt water? Is it going to rust? Is it going to rot? Or
well, they're not going to rust. We guarantee them for life. So and they're galvanized, so they are designed to take abuse, including water issues. This is a permanent feature. Once it's in the ground and it reaches strata, we're
okay. So you're talking about the red dots, right? That's the 23 piles you're putting in?
So So I'm sorry to interrupt. They are that's in the diagram that you have, and you probably have a copy of a copy. Not sure.
Yeah.
But so let's call them the red dots. The red dots go around the side and back of the property, and on the garage, it's the front of the house side of the garage that is settling. So we're only doing the garage front wall.
Yeah.
That takes 5 piers. That will be done from the exterior.
Now, what are the white dots in the back under the deck?
So the deck is a different project. We that deck is sinking into the ground as well. When it was built, they overextended the support of the deck. The deck is 43 feet long, and they only put down six sonotubes. And those sonotubes, they're only 4 feet deep, and they're heavy concrete uh, blocks. They have sunk into the ground. So we are installing 10 jacks, also lifetime warrantable, underneath the existing beam that supports the deck. I think we're doing 10, if I'm not mistaken, which is the right measurement. And we're going to attempt to lift the deck that has actually settled some 3 inches. So that's a separate project also.
Right. 'Cause I'm just talking about it because it's within the 100-foot mark.
Right.
Yeah.
That's within our jurisdiction, exactly.
Right.
So my question is, you're using jacks. Are there footings under these jacks?
Yeah, the footings that we're using, they are a hard plastic material.
Yeah.
And they are just, we dig about 2 feet to support the jack, and we bury them in stone. There are the plates are designed to support the structure much more effectively than a gigantic and heavy block of concrete.
Okay, but my question: do you know the history of this site? Because I know it very well.
No, I'm sure that you can tell me the history of the site much more than I could possibly pretend that I know.
This was a hole, and it was all filled in, and they built this house on it. So I think your settling is more than what you think it is. So if it were me, I would dig some test holes.
Are you talking about the deck settlement or the house settlement?
Everything.
Rob, do you think there's environmental concerns with your knowledge in this? Is that where you're going with your questions?
Yeah, I'm just afraid that they're going to start pushing water up with all this weight that they're starting to put down. I don't know. I don't know if this is the right solution because of the history of the site.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know. This is a hard one, but this should have never been built. That's the end of the story for me.
But the real
but the
for us is whether there's, whether we can see a negative environmental impact. And I'm not smart enough to know anything about this. So that's my question.
The environmental impact is this is a house that was built on fill. So in a marsh or a wet area, I should say.
Well, that's why they need the structural support to provide the support.
But in the back, if they're only going to go 2 feet, I don't think that's going to fix the problem.
We contend that it will, and we stand by everything we do. Okay. But I do understand what you're saying, and I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, I feel terrible for the homeowner.
Oh, so do I. It's horrible.
Okay, I mean, this is a multi-million-dollar home, and we're providing her with a solution that we are standing behind 100%. Not only because we've been doing it for decades,
yep,
but because we strongly believe that it is a permanent solution. We have our engineering team that reviewed the whole project. We have one of the engineers here with us, and we strongly believe that this will solve their issue. This is not going to settle any further.
If this is what you guys do for a living, then by all means, I don't do this for a living. It's just I've done similar projects, but I've always known the history. So
yeah,
just a little bit of info.
Yeah, just to add on to to address perhaps Rob's comment here. These IntelliJacks that were designed here, we actually have a load analysis calculation that goes along with this, which will break down how this load is transferred all the weight above it, how they're transferred into these jacks down to the footing, assuming the worst case scenario for soil conditions, which is 1500 PSF. And so all of those calculations will be provided along with this.
Yeah, I'm fine with this. I mean, don't forget, this is under the conservation's jurisdiction. We can only looking at the impact, whether environmentally there is any problem or concern with it. Structurally, I mean, it's all up to the engineer to design the support structure to support this. So this is their bag, not our bag. But Angela.
Yeah, just a quick question. In the resource area off the deck side, there's a wood retaining wall. Could you at least tell us what condition is it in and how tall is it? And will this affect this, putting any pressure on that? Because that directly affects the resource area.
I apologize. What wood structure are you talking about? I'm not familiar with a retention wall.
On the plan, there's a wood retaining wall, I believe, that goes across the back side where the deck is, where you're planning on putting these
the 10
deck system.
Deck.
Oh.
Do you know how tall it is and what condition it's in?
The answer is I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm being honest with you. I walked the entire perimeter of the property, and I went underneath the deck. I went in the crawl space. I did it all. I don't remember seeing a retention wall. I know that the property, after the deck ends, you have about, I'm going to say about 4 feet of flat area before the land goes down quite a bit into like a culvert or something.
Right. That's our resource.
Yes.
That's what we're trying to protect. So I want to make sure you were aware of that wood retaining wall that you now are going to put pressure on. That's all.
No.
I'm not against this RDA, but there are things here I think we needed to consider as you work through this project. Thank you.
Yeah. So no, I agree with you. So if the retention wall that you're talking about is beyond the deck, beyond that 4 or 5 foot area of flat surface before the land begins to go down, if the retention wall is there, but when the land begins to go down, the project will not affect that retention wall at all.
Okay, thank
you.
Yeah,
That was
because
Angela's question.
We're going about 3 feet from the end of the deck inwards. That's where the main beam that supports the structure sits on 6 sonotubes. So we're going to put the jacks on that line, right where the beam for the deck is.
Okay.
So, we're not going to be doing any work beyond the deck itself. And that still gives us like 4 or 5 feet before this retention wall that you're talking about that I probably didn't see it, ma'am, because of the snow.
Yeah, I understand. Thank you.
Okay. Chenoweth, any public comment on this one?
Seeing none.
Could I have a motion to approve this project as a negative determination?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Abadili.
Aye.
DeMello.
Aye.
Hearn.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Kashulik.
E.
Sorry.
Deb recused
He's
himself.
recused himself. I'm sorry. My bad. Sampu.
Aye.
And Tangney, aye. That's 6 of us. That's unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Have a good one.
Thank you, Masood.
Take care. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
See you later.
See you.
Bye.
Is there anyone representing the first one, Pamela Robinson, here? None? Let me go to the NOI and they will come back. We have 2 NOIs this evening. The first one is Robert J. IV and Thomas P. Rams removal of a brick patio, paver patio, installation of a permeable paver patio, and fire pit within 50 feet buffer at 536 Chu Flying Hill Road, Centerville, as shown on the Assessors Map 193, parcel 029. And Michael from Allen and Major Associates.
That is correct, Mr. Chair. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year. Go ahead.
I also have Thomas Rems and Robert Rems, owners of the property as well.
Yes.
Excuse me, Tom, could this gentleman speak up a little bit? I'm having some trouble hearing.
Michael, can you speak up or turn up your sound?
Yeah. Is that better?
No, it's worse. Can you try again?
How's that?
Yeah, sounds better.
That's clear. There we go. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Michael Malinowski with Allen and Major Associates. We are here presenting for restoration plans for an NOI at 536 Shoot Flying Hill Road. This Ed, I can share my screen, the plans that we have. If that will work.
Yeah, you can share. It's coming up.
All right. Can everybody see that?
Yep.
Okay. So as the NOI states, this is for the installation after the fact of a permeable brick paver patio for the existing house located at 536 Shoot Flying Hill Road. You can see the new paver installation that was here with the front door. As part of that installation, there was some additional landscaping that was installed in this location here and along the existing retaining wall that sits along the lake's edge. As part of the mitigation, there was approximately 443 square feet of patio area that was constructed. There was 421 area of disturbance associated with that. We removed the existing 174 square feet of patios, which left 690 square feet of disturbance. Based on the town of Barnstable's requirement, it's a 4-to-1 mitigation ratio, which resulted in the requiring of 2,761 square feet of new planting. As part of the work that was done in the spring of 2025, there was 691 square feet of mitigation that was proposed. And as part of this latest package is an additional 2,117 square feet of replication that is being provided. The primary area of the replication is the installation of 40 low bush blueberries situated in this area here. It's sort of natural scrub vegetation in that area, so the installation of the low bush will pose minimal impacts to the buffer. To supplement that, there is a large area that is being proposed to be replicated in this area with hay-scented ferns along with arborvitaes in this area. Between those areas, we exceed the 4-to-1 ratio for the disturbance with the proposed paver installation. This is the mitigation plan, and then we had specific details that outlined the erosion control measures that were installed, the permeable paver construction, as well as the landscape wall and fire pit that was installed in that area. As part of where the low bush blueberries are, we are providing the conservation buffer markers that the town has as one of their options. It's a 4x4 post with a conservation tag on it. We did provide, as part of the NOI package, a stormwater report, and based on the installation of the permeable pavers, we do have a net decrease in stormwater, both rate and volume, providing infiltration of stormwater in the area. Be happy to answer any questions that the commission may have.
First of all, on your
Yes.
go back to the engineering plan that you have.
Yes, sir.
I need some dimension on the existing paver patio area that you have it in there.
So the existing paver was 174 square feet.
It's not just the square feet. I need the width and the length and all that stuff.
Oh, okay.
Total area. I need dimensions.
Let's see. So
you can submit as a revised plan. I just want to mention it.
Oh, okay. That we can do.
Yeah. Before I go to the commissioner, Ed, what did you get a chance to look at the planting and the mitigations? Requirement.
Yeah, so I've got a few problems with the plan here. First of all, I think looking at the species and types of plants, most of these are not considered native plantings. Hydrangea is not it's not usually something we would put into a mitigation area. I'm not sure about the Carl Forster grass either. I'm not familiar with that variety to begin with. I think the other issue is that we have I don't know. I think that whatever that northern area is in the 50 to 100 foot buffer, that the hay scented fern, that might be 800 square feet, but I think that's in the wrong place. You know, the mitigation needs to be put down in the 50 foot buffer. I don't think a lot of the what is being claimed as mitigation area for the 2025 planting mitigation. I don't. The area is good. I just don't think the plant variety is sufficient or of the right species and types. The other thing is that I see a lot of spaces where the current conditions are showing that there's a lot of mulch in those planting areas, and again, that's not something we would be looking to see. We would probably see some sort of a native seed mix interspersed throughout the rest of the plantings. I think there might be a little bit better options that you might consider for that area to the east. It's not the mitigation area that you were showing to the east of the property. Again, I mean, low bush blueberry is an option that you can certainly use, but I think that's one of those things that it seems like it's being used a little bit overzealously, and maybe there could be some other varieties of plants that are mixed in there. So overall, I think a revised plan showing a much better distribution of the mitigation area is required.
And the types of the mitigation planting.
And then the types of species and varieties as well.
Okay. Thanks, Ed. Bill?
Yeah, I would basically second everything that Ed said. I made a site visit today, and I found I was the only one there. The snow is very deep. No one had been in there. And that patio and that walkway would never pass muster in a normal NOI, and it has been generated by through an enforcement effort. And I found the walkway particularly objectionable. it's there is the little vegetation along the edge of the water is about, and I'm not exaggerating, it's a foot or less in width, and it has this little string of little plants along there. It's not like a buffer, and the walkway is wide. It's a big, wide pavement that connects over to the patio. And I'm thinking, you would a house that's that close to the water, you would think that people would be aware that you don't just slap in hardscape like that so close. And I would think that something like, like I want to, like flagstones or just simple stones that are spaced apart would be so much less is it obtrusive or obtrusive? But I mean, it's a big, wide path, and I really think that should be removed. I have some sympathy for, it's a small house and having this lovely patio on the side. I can kind of understand it, but we would never permit that normally, so close to the water. And so I personally really think you need to get rid of that pathway coming out right along the waterfront, beef up the mitigation area along the water's edge. And I will also report to the commissioners who may not have been there, over on the right side, looking at the diagram here on the plan, on the right side, the lake is got vegetation, really nice. They didn't hose it down with this like lawn going right down into the lake. There's a swath of about it's about 2 feet wide. And so there already is 2 feet of vegetation, and there are some trees in there, and the idea of making that wider is a good idea. I do believe that the mitigation zone over on the left side of the house, to the left of where the patio is, I mean, I would think you would want to stack a lot of your mitigation over along the waterfront over there.
Hey, Bill, this is Tom Remis. I'm the owner of the property with my brother, Robert Remis, as well. I just wanted to kind of explain some of the reasonings for the locations of the mitigation. As you're aware from being on the property this afternoon, that our driveway is kind of right at the very top of the property, and it slopes down toward the lake. The house is just under 1,000 square feet. We have minimal kind of flat portions. Everything else is kind of ramped going up. So we were trying to do some of the mitigation from the top of the driveway to the bottom of that hill, essentially, to prevent any of the runoff. It would create a buffer to kind of wash out anything that's coming from the driveway or from Shoot Flying Hill Road coming down before it hits into the lake, and do similar to what a mitigation is supposed to do, of protect the wetlands areas. And then on the other side, as you were saying, we do have that kind of 2-foot buffer zone where we have a couple trees that are planted right on the coastline, as well as all of our, there's kind of some pricker bushes and holly bushes, kind of a strip there, and then a little open yard area. And then we have a small retaining wall then drastically slopes up towards Shoot Flying Hill Road. That section there is where we have a holding tank for our septic, which with the new sewer line going in, that will be removed, and we're going to be tied into the gravity feed system. So that's kind of a phase 2, if need be. We were going to plant some mitigation up there as well.
And to sort of go back to your comment, sir, about the pavers, the pavers are actually a permeable. That's actually a better solution than, say, a flagstone. If you were to put flagstone, you would have to put a bedding material that would basically make that area impervious. The stone pavers, although it looks smooth, are actually designed to take on much more water than, say, your a field stone or a blue slate walkway. So the permeable pavers is actually a preferred alternative for stormwater in this situation.
Thank you.
Could I respond to that very briefly? I believe that it's more than just simply dealing with water and trying to have water seep into the ground. Natural vegetation provides a filter for sediments. It removes nutrients if you have vegetation growing there, and instead you have basically this sterile, wide, permeable pavers, and I just can't see it.
Yeah, in the
Which,
summertime,
if you go
it
back
is full. We
to
do have hydrangeas and some grasses there, and that does fill up the area on both sides of it. It is wintertime, so a lot of those are dormant right now.
Okay.
And another note too, Bill, that whole left side, the whole patio section, the whole existing area where we added everything, that was basically just a sand, very difficult. We've been trying for a decade to get grass to plant there, and it just runs off down in the river. Even you can kind of see on the left side of this diagram, we've lost a ton of land already. We had to put retaining wall in, maybe 15 years ago. So we've lost a lot of land. It just doesn't, it'd be great to have, great thriving grass and things like that. I understand what you're saying, but we've definitely added a lot of vegetation does a lot more. I'm a sustainable agriculture major, so I understand what you're saying about, mitigation, everything like that for, the root systems and everything. They remove nutrients and everything, but there's a lot more now than there was, if that helps, for your cause on this.
Thank you. Pete?
Yeah, thank you. I agree with Ed, just like Bill, and I think Bill has a lot of good points. I'm pretty much expecting to see a continuance so that we have native vegetation coming back, an increased width, hydrangea, a single strip of a 1 foot wide along that walkway. I'm a PhD scientist involved with nutrient eutrophication of coastal waters, but I'm very familiar coming out of the University of Wisconsin system with eutrophication of freshwater systems. And what is in front of us tonight is not something which would never have been permitted, and I'm going to want to see something better. Thank you.
Thank you, Pete. Angela?
Yeah, I got to say that I'm going along with the rest of the commissioners, and I thank Bill for going and actually walking out there. But just from the photographs alone that you gave us, that aerial photograph image 2 shows specifically the area that we don't feel we would have given as mitigation with the hydrangeas, and it looks like mulch between it. Like we would have never accepted that. I don't know who did your mitigation planning, but that entire side, which might be the west side of the dock or the left side of the photo, if you're talking about your map, is definitely not the things we would have approved. So I'm totally in agreement that this needs to have some kind of staff approval of what the mitigation is in that area. Besides the fact that I know Bill has issue with what's already there, but this is an after the fact we're looking at it. So the mitigation seems to be unacceptable by most of the commissioners.
Thank you, Angela. John?
Yes, thank you, Tom. I could add, I agree with the other folks. In fact, I'd go a little bit further because I think it's absolutely essential to put additional mitigation between that rear deck, pavers or not, and the water and the resource, the lake. And if it's necessary to cut several feet off of that, that may be required. As the other commissioner said, that we probably would not have approved this if brought before us. The fact that this is an after the fact filing doesn't make it any different standard. So I would say that you guys need to take a continuance. You need to look at the amount of vegetation, the plants that you're going to put in, and most importantly, the location. And just speaking for me, between the deck, that rear walk patio, and the water, boy, you better fill that area in and come up with some good numbers for me, or you better even look at cutting it back 2 to 3 feet.
Thank you, John. Thank you, John. I think one of the suggestions for Michael and the homeowner, you may want to check with Ed in terms of the locations of the mitigation planting and the types of the planting species on the revised plans, when you come back. Channel 18, any public comment on this one?
Thomas, could I pitch in for a quick second?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, the walkway from the front door to the patio where the fire pit is egregiously wide. And I couldn't agree more with Bill's comment in terms of the flagstone, but more of a stepping stone type situation.
Yeah.
That could have been half as wide, and all the plant material is off base. The Carl Forster grass is not a native. The hydrangeas are not native. This should be a brand new start over again right here, guys.
I agree.
Thank you,
Thomas,
Jeff.
you know, they can either request a vote tonight or take a continuance and come back with a revised plan a little closer to what the commissioners have discussed.
Yeah, we're going to take into consideration everything that's been said by the commission and ask for continuance, and we can resubmit.
How much time do you think you need?
Would it be possible to get some written comments from Mr. Hopes?
From what? From Ed?
From Ed.
From Ed. Yeah, all of these comments are grateful, but this is the first time that we're hearing that there was concern by staff. So any comments that we haven't received any written comment on the plans that were submitted. So that would be helpful if we could get that.
Ed needs to respond to that, Tom, too.
Ed can send you an email, or you can talk to Ed, because right now, looking on the agenda itself, March we have 3 hearings from the 3rd, the 17th, and the 31st. I think the 3rd is too quick. You may need more time. It may be the 17th or the 31st.
Yeah. So, Mike Malinowski, if you could send me an email tomorrow, and I will try and spell out some of the major points that that the commissioners are going to be looking for.
Okay.
And get back to you then as quickly as I can.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you, sir.
Is March 17th enough time?
I think that is doable for us.
Okay. If not, you can always just let us know, and then we can always move it to the 31st.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Channel 18, any public comment? I can see there is a G with the hands up. Is that a public comment?
Correct. Yep, go ahead if you want to just identify yourself.
Okay, yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Guy Talapa. I'm the homeowner at 547 Chute Flying Hill Road. If you're looking at the plan, it's basically, right to the left of the patio. And I'm, along with a few other houses, we have a right-of-way deeded path about 10 feet wide that I do not believe is really acknowledged on this plan here. Or maybe it is over there. So again, Tom and Robert, they're great neighbors. We have really no exception to with the patio. The two kind of things that we are taking exception with, and I might have a third one now that I'm seeing these giant arborvitaes at the top of the screen. The 7 or so arborvitaes that are in front of the patio, we totally get the screening, the intent there, right? You want some shelter from the road. But, from our front yard, we're already seeing the tops of those, and those grow like 5 to 6 feet or 3 to 5 feet a year, and they top out at 60 feet tall. So I feel like over time, our view is going to get really obstructed there. And then certainly this is the first time I'm seeing the 11 arborvitaes kind of like at the top of the driveway. If those go in with a combination of the ones down at the road, our entire view of the lake is gone. So I apologize for the late notice. I sent Kimberly an email. We got notified kind of late, I feel like, on this hearing. And then back to the 10-foot deeded path, the low shrubs, I think, again, the intent of the path is to allow us to have access to the lake. And I sent Kimberly some photos, and I think everyone's kind of seen it, but the little band that's running along the left side right up against the water kind of cuts across there. So, it's not like we were obstructed from accessing the lake, but it feels like it was, a little bit of land grab with the planting going over that area. That's all I had, Commissioner.
Yeah, we've planted nothing on his section of land.
No, there's a hydrangea that was planted too far there, so that can be removed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can talk to the homeowner in terms of your comment stuff. I mean, we can only deal with this, and then if the revised plan, you have the option of another chance to look at the revised plan and provide your feedback as well.
Okay.
And Tom, this is Pete. I'm fairly certain that we deal with essentially within 0 to 100 feet, and we often, I'm not aware of us ever protecting a viewscape for someone outside of that 100 foot. So I'm a little bit, I don't think that's something that we actually have regulations over. Thank you.
I think Pete is right. As you know, Tom, it's the law says public view, not private view. So we have limited jurisdiction. Peter's essentially correct in what he just said, in my opinion.
No. I mean, I agree with you. We don't protect the view because we don't have any performance standard in terms of the public view stuff. But this is something that you can work with the neighbor and to deal with that.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I don't know, Tom and Robert, maybe we can connect afterwards. But we totally get the screening. I do feel like it's the first time I'm seeing the 11 arborvitaes over there. I mean, I think if there's another option there, that would be great to look at. But if those go in, we are, we have no view of the lake.
Okay. Could I have a motion to continue these applications to March the 17th?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Abadili.
Aye.
DeMello.
Aye.
Hearn.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Kashulik.
Aye.
Sampu.
Aye.
And Tangney, aye. That's unanimous, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Michael, send an email to Ed so that you guys can talk about the type of the mitigation planting and the location of it.
We will do that, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Yep. Thank you.
The next NOI is Gregory J. and Julianne P. Pinto, trustee, JDC Ocean Avenue Realty Trust, proposed management of an invasive Phragmites at 47, 57, and 63 Ocean Avenue, Centerville, as shown on Assessors Map 226, parcels 035, 036, and 149. John?
Good evening, John O'Day from Sullivan Engineering Consulting, representing the applicants. I will pull this plan up for you. We have been working with the Pintos, who are the owners of 63 Ocean Avenue, and the majority of the marshlands at the end of this creek off of the Centerville River. We worked with them on a home restoration that came before the commission. And as a part of that project, there was a little bit of Phragmites control right along the immediate bottom of their bank in these areas in here. They were very happy with those efforts, and they are concerned about whether or not the Phragmites will continue to proliferate in other areas of the marsh. So they started this venture where they're hoping to continue to expand on those areas that they're controlling. And they have also been in touch with their neighbors heading to the south at numbers 57 and 47 Ocean Avenue, who also have a little bit of much smaller areas of marsh and smaller areas of Phragmites, but they'd like to begin to work their way that way. So this is been filed as an ecological restoration. The scope of the project is strictly just for Phragmites control. We have permitted and highlighted kind of the areas where there is currently Phragmites. They're going to work their way outwards. We're going to do what we can and when we can. but kind of given the permitting path, they decided to request permission for the entire area. I think that there's been successful other projects like this in the area, and they're happy to hopefully be able to continue these efforts. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, John. Bill?
Yeah, it looks like an ambitious project. You've got a lot of area that you're planning on controlling. I wondered, is there sufficient money to do this in like 1 year?
No, probably not. It will probably be an expanding project. I don't think that it's their vision that they could accomplish this all in one swoop. It would be nice, but we are envisioning this being a process.
Yeah.
That would be more than like 3 years. It'd be some ongoing invasive.
I think we'll probably try to keep the order alive as long as we can, and that completion of that would be able to talk about what we've been able to accomplish, what we can continue to maintain, where future projects may need to go from there.
Another point, I read the Department of Marine Fisheries letter, and I thought they had a reasonable point where first they said, well, we don't know the area, so we really can't tell you to do X. But if this is pure Phragmites, mowing is okay. But they were not happy with the concept that you're just going to mow and potentially mow like Spartina alterniflora or other native salt marsh plants. And so they said, well, maybe for Phragmites management in places where there's a mixed species mixture, to do the cut and swipe. And I know that over in the bog that I live near, they bundle them, and well, first they bundle them, cut them, and then swipe them, and that's very effective. So I mean, how are you going to handle places where there might be a mixture with the Spartina?
So the project was proposed not just as a straight mow. It was mow followed by treatments. And I think that there are areas in these where it's 100% Phragmites, where their mowing and their treatment can maybe be more extensive, and then obviously there are some fringe areas where they would have to start to be more careful and maybe start getting into some smaller hand cutting. I think that the commission will, I assume, cover itself with qualified consultants, and maybe that there needs to be, on top of the monitoring reports, just, this is what we're going to be tackling this year, or what would be tackling next year. And if they start to get more into some of those fringe details, how that could be handled. But for the most part, those areas you can't even walk through them. They're so thick.
Yeah, if I could, I agree. I just hope I'm hoping Ed is prepared to figure out how to deal with that, because there seems to be quite a lot of work here, a lot of places and whatnot. And I can easily see there will be places where you'll be wanting to do the cut and swipe rather than the mowing, et cetera. And so I don't know how to deal with it, but we have to deal with that. Thanks.
Angela.
Yeah, Bill went right for the finances to have this project completed. I'm going to go for the why again. It seems to me they liked clearing the Phragmites so much around their home that now they're going to clear more because they liked it. I didn't understand the why.
They want a healthy marsh. They don't want the Phragmites to totally take over it. Their house is elevated up 20 feet over it. It has nothing to do with view. It has nothing to do with access down there. They've got a nice boardwalk that crosses it. They know that they have a big piece of land. They've got 8 acres of this marsh.
Right. So they might want to subdivide, and if they do this now, it'll be easier for later, correct?
If you're in the market for some
I'm
marsh,
asking you because you said this was going to be a long period of time, so it sounded to me like you were going to come forward with more things, what you're going to do with it. And again, that's your business. I'm just asking.
there is nothing that can be done with that marsh.
Yeah, this is a marsh.
This is 100%. There is no land to divide. This is just a person who wants to maintain a healthy marsh.
That is awesome, and I appreciate that, and thank you for your honesty, John. I'm taking classes now on marsh restorations, and I just had asked that question, what their plans are. Thank you.
John?
Yeah, I was just going to say, well done, guys. I think it's a great project. Bill's question's relevant. Obviously, I just think this is great. Thank you.
It's a good project. It's nice
for
them to bring it to us and to be a part of it.
It's awesome. Done by a good company. I mean, it's just great. I would put, Tom probably monitoring on it and et cetera, and, keeping the right people informed, but it's really environmentally, it's spiffy.
Yep. Rob?
This is a great project, and I wish more people would do this type of thing with the marshes, especially here on Cape Cod. We keep talking about being stewards of the land. Well, this is a perfect example of being a steward of the land. I'm very well educated in this, in how to take care of the Phragmites situation. And, we've heard Bill talking about swiping. We actually inject when we do it. We've done several major projects, and we inject every single stem. It's an absolute nightmare, but it's a slow, tedious process. You can mow it, and as they start growing, you can start swiping them again. I understand there's other species in there, but I mean, this is a fantastic project, and I'm all for it. And I know there's a lot of very well qualified people that can do this project. So go for it. I love it.
Thank you, Rob. Ed?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Have they decided on the contractor at this point?
They have not decided on a contractor.
Okay. I would suggest definitely in this situation that it be a SERP certified contractor who can do the work both in and in the wetland as well as the buffer. Somebody who certainly is qualified with Phragmites control.
And you want monitoring, would you not, Ed?
Yeah, and I think before they even get to the monitoring standpoint, I think they need to, when they decide on a contractor, they need to provide a management plan that's going to spell out the different phases that they're going to be doing, how they're going to do the work, and submit that a month before they do any real work, and then the monitoring as well.
For your approval, Ed, not just here's a plan.
So yeah, submitted to the conservation staff for our review, and then then the monitoring as well. I mean, I think this is a great project, and I wish more people could take on something like this. They certainly should be commended for that, and I hope that all of what they're proposing is going to come true someday. But I think even if they get half of it done, that'll be an impressive feat for at least, especially for just a single homeowner. So.
So Ed, here's what I'm thinking. Number one, as you mentioned, that we need that the contractor as a cert professional for that one, and then they need to provide that management plan of how they want to do the projects. They may not know 6 years from now, but they would know at least 2 or 3 years, right? Time frame wise, short term wise, provide that. And then you can review it and approve it. If they want to do more after that, they have to provide additional management plan of how to attack the other area. Does it sound right?
Yeah, I think, obviously, if they're going to continue beyond the 3 years of this permit, when they come back with an extension, and I don't have a problem with them doing that, but that they would do an updated management plan, filling in what they're doing in the future, and again doing the same, basically the same thing again with the increased monitoring going forward for those other 3 years.
Okay.
Can I say something?
Yeah, Rob.
I do have an issue with what Ed just said with the CERP certified. I've done so many of these projects, and Ed, you've seen what I do. I don't understand why a project like this, where it's going in and cutting phragmites and treating them, you have to be CERP certified. You're not restoring it. You're not digging it up. I just don't understand why there's going to be limitations on certain companies to do a project this simple. I mean, for me, it's simple. I'm sorry, but
I would just add to that it does, and it's not just anyone can do this. You do have to be a licensed applicator,
of course,
or whatever,
but
and you do have to be qualified. So I know that this has been a condition. If it has to be, it has to be. But I do think that the commission should understand that there is a very, very limited pool of SERPs, like maybe 2 or 3. And we start getting into a supply and demand, and there's a reason that maybe more of these aren't happening.
I just think it's a straightforward project for a company like mine could go in and do it, but I'm not certified. Do I have the knowledge? I think everybody on the board knows I have the knowledge to do this, but because I don't have a piece of paper, that I feel isn't right.
Can I ask for learning purposes why? What's the difference? What do you have to do to be certified? What is the difference?
You have to have a college degree, which I have in soils and plant knowledge. I have all that, but you have to go through a certain type of training, and that's more for bank restorations, serious projects.
Not chemical safety usage, like
chemical safety. You have to be.
They have to be licensed.
You have to be licensed. That has nothing to do with CERP.
That's why I'm asking. Thank you, Rob, for clearing that up.
So what you suggest, Rob, simply saying instead of certified, licensed and qualified?
Licensed pesticide applicator, which my whole company is, right. And then somebody with a knowledge or experience or people.
So the word I would suggest is licensed and qualified, yes, rather than certified.
Yep.
Ed, does that make sense to you, Ed? Or are you concerned with that?
I mean, I do, and in all deference to Rob. I mean, I know Rob. I know Rob's work. I respect him deeply with his abilities to do the work. Not everybody who has a pesticide applicator's license is experienced, qualified, or capable of doing the work. Just because I got the piece of paper from the state that says I know I can legally apply pesticide does not necessarily make me a good candidate for doing this control.
You feel we should stay with the word certified, Ed?
Well, what I think what we should do, I think we should ask to get the qualifications and the license informations to Ed so that he can approve it with the personnel that he feels comfortable.
And even past projects, maybe we don't need to keep using CERP. You tell me what your certifications are, what your licenses are, and examples. And, show me projects you've done in the past. I think that right there is sufficient enough.
But I'd like to hear Ed's answer, Tom.
Yeah, I mean,
with certification, does that make you more comfortable?
Again, typically we have always in the past required the CERP certified because they're working in a wetland. If they're doing the work and the control in the buffer to the wetland, and it's always been licensed and qualified. That was the only 2 things that we required. We wanted that extra push when they were doing work actually in the wetland themselves, in the resource area. Again, if the commission feels as though they want to just move to the qualified and licensed, that's entirely within your purview to do so. And if that's the way you want to go, then we just want to, again, I would agree with Rob. You would have to get a resume, curriculum vitae of the projects that you've done. And so we have some sort of information that we can get that or make that decision.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, at this point, they need to identify somebody who they want to do the work, and I think if that's the case, then we can certainly work with them and see if that's gonna work out. And if it's not, then then we're sort of back in a little bit different situation. I'd have to come back to the commission at that point, but.
Right. Okay. Pete?
Yeah, I'd agree with Ed on this. We're actually working in the wetland, and I can't be specific, but I think we have had problems with folks who have had licenses for the application of pesticides, but did not have the knowledge of wetland species and the care that's needed with working in the wetland. So, and I also don't want to have to put on to Ed the pressure of, well, is this guy okay or not? That's a pressure that then just rests on Ed alone. I think what we've done in the past is when we're in a wetland, we demand the highest certification. Thank you.
Thank you, Pete. Bill, you want to say something?
Yeah, I do. I'm kind of I'm torn between the two sides here, and I believe that what we would need is to have clear criteria.
Absolutely.
For Phragmites eradication, management, what have you. And it would have to be its own thing in that you have to be a licensed applicator. You have to have shown that you've done it 3 other places or whatever already. You have to blah, 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 blah. I don't know, whatever. But I think if you just simply, the point that Pete made is very valid. It's kind of like it puts it on Ed. Well, he starts to become the kingmaker. Well, you're not good enough. No, you're good enough. And it's like, why am I not good enough? It's like you need standards here. And there are so many kinds of projects. The criteria for Phragmites would be one thing, but then working in a wetland and restoration, blah, blah, you'd have to have other things. So, I mean, I don't think you just open it up to just anybody. And if we need to have criteria established. And so either we make some kind of a move to have that criteria, or we go with Ed's suggestion that the person has to be certified right now for this particular project, and then consider, let's try to loosen that up by having a separate set of criteria for Phragmites management, because it isn't being done, and it may be more expensive having the 3 groups or whatever they are that can do this. You know what I mean? Anyhow, my 2 cents.
I'm perfectly willing to sit down and listen. I appreciate Pete your comments, and if the commission would like to move in the less the requirement of the SERP all the time, especially under Phragmites, that's okay. But if you can just give me, if you as a group can give me some sort of guidelines, like you were saying, Bill, that what do we want to do? And I think those are perfectly acceptable things. How long have you been a licensed applicator? What kind of work have you done? It's a basic resume, basic CV that it's going to show me that you have the experience of doing that, and I'm perfectly happy doing that. I don't mean to say that SERP are the only. I don't mean to say that SERP can't make a mistake. I just think that they've had a lot more, in order to get that SERP certification, they've had a lot more experience, and they've proven their time and time again. So, and again, and not to say that if you don't have a SERP, that you're disqualified. So I'm willing to work with you on that. I need you to give me some guidelines if that's what you want me to do.
John, you want to say something?
Yeah, I sure do. I've been around too long it's not what staff has to decide and not decide. I think that I would agree with Peter very strongly in this one, especially in this one where there clearly is a very large project that could be very ongoing by obviously individuals who can financially afford it, although money should be a criteria, but here, it's pretty obvious. I think the certification should be required in this particular application. I think if Rob, maybe with his expertise, or I don't know, Jeff or you or whoever, can maybe develop some kind of set of guidelines for future use and future projects, that would be a valid thing to consider. But I think to place this burden on this Ed in this application under these circumstances would be a mistake. So I would prefer to stay with the word certified for this particular application.
And I agree.
I agree with that too. Good, John.
I think we should stay with that, sir, because it's, I mean, this is important, kind of like helping Ed out, not putting too much burden onto Ed to decide that who can do the job or not. In the future, we can take a second look, but it will be at least, you know, I can think about a whole bunch of stuff as you guys are talking about, but let me move on here. Channel 18, any public comment on this one?
We do have a few neighbors here. Is there anyone that would like to make a comment? You could raise your virtual hand or unmute.
John, your hand's still up.
Oh, thanks.
Dr. Girardin, did you have anything you wanted to say?
Yes, I mean, I am fully in support of this. And when you were talking about the Phragmites intermixing with other plants, they have completely killed all the native species around and taken over the area. So what the pintos are doing to add to what other people are saying is laudable, and they did it right in front of their property with somebody who they were incredibly satisfied with, and the Phragmites have not returned, or they've done a maintenance on them or follow up on them. So they're whoever that was, I don't know whether they were certified or not certified, but they did a great job, and that's why the pintos have taken on this bigger project. But I think it's also important, just as a homeowner and a resident of Centerville, is the Phragmites are taking over the planet. And so we need to be cautious, but we also need to encourage people to do it, like you guys all said in the beginning of the meeting, because it's a huge project for the pintos to take on. They're paying a large amount of money for that to happen, and it's really going to help the native species repopulate the area, which is, I think, what we all want. So that's my only comment, is we should try to help the pintos in any way we possibly can, because the weight of this project is on their shoulders, and they have had success with somebody very reputable. I don't know whether they carry the certified emblem or not, but very reputable, who did a tremendous job. And that's why I think the pintos have been talking to them. Whether they're the people that the pintos have chosen or not, I don't know. But I just know they did a great job. And so I think what we should, as a town and as neighbors and as a community, support them as much as we possibly can. That's it.
Thank you.
Could I get your address for the file?
Me?
Yes.
23 Laurel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any public comment on this?
Anyone else? I think that's it, Tom.
No? Okay.
And one more point, Tom.
Yeah, go ahead, John.
I'm sorry to interrupt. You know, John, you always have the right, if you found somebody that's super qualified or whatever, to request an amended order, if that is a necessary avenue that this homeowner needs to pursue. You can always do that. But I'd like to start with the certification, as I said earlier.
I think I totally understand. It was a good point for a discussion on these projects in general as to where they should go. And if we're sticking with the standard condition, I guess based on you moving around, but based on what you just said, I don't know whether it's not on Ed, but it's a SERP or someone approved by the commission as opposed to someone needing to go through the amended ecological restoration process or something. So if you're open to that, that would be a step for someone to take someday. And if you're not, then we move forward. That's
No, I think we are open to that. But to start with, we want to have that certification, the cert professional to do the job stuff. Later on, if somebody else can solve the qualifications and the license applications and experience within 5 years project and that sort of things to help Ed out to solve the qualifications, we can make that kind of change.
Yes.
So could I have a motion? Well, let me just go through the condition first. One, once the homeowner has selected the professional, they should submit the names and qualifications to Ed to review and approved, and they have to be a licensed applicator, from according for the Phragmite species stuff. And then we need the management plans for at least 3 years, and then the annual report for the 3 years. And then in the next one, when you apply for the second extent or the first extensions, then you can submit another management plan for the following 3 years, so that you have a limited scope within the 3 years time frame to deal with it. So, and then the annual report. Is there anything that I'm missing, Ed?
No, I think you're good. Yeah, I think you're good there. You met them all.
But we're agreeing for this application, licensed and certified.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then at the 3-year renewal, if we alter the Phragmites control a little bit with the guidance, then at that point we can consider a non-certified but highly qualified person. I think that's what you sort of said, Tom, right?
Right. Yes. And if you wanted to do that earlier, John comes back and files an amended request.
Yes. Yes. Good.
Yeah. Yep.
So moved.
Anyone second?
Second.
Roll call.
Abadili.
Aye.
DeMello.
I'm going to say aye.
Hearn.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Kashulik.
Aye.
Sampu.
Wholeheartedly aye.
Tangney, aye. That's 7 commissioners. That's unanimous.
And John, our thanks to the homeowners for doing this.
Absolutely.
As
certainly
Dr. Yergin
passed
said,
along.
it's just wonderful. God bless them for doing it.
Can I encourage Rob DeMello to draft some kind of alternative set of quals for this kind of work? And
Absolutely. I mean, I would love to do that because I'm more than qualified to do that kind of work, but I'm not certified.
Yeah, but
but I can make. I'll put something together and I'll present.
There have to be criteria. I mean, as
Absolutely.
Ed said, so that we're not putting the burden on Ed to go, I'm the kingmaker. I'll decide you versus you. I mean, if you could
No,
help.
you're absolutely right. And maybe Rob could do that.
Rob can draft.
I would like to see that. Anyhow, thank you.
Lucky me.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, John. We have one continuance, the Ocean Gate condominiums, to increase sand behind the seawall to 7 feet from the existing 3.5 feet, and additions to the 4 stairs going towards the water at 21 House Avenue, Hyannis, as shown as Assessors Map 323, Parcel 002. And this is a continuance from February the 3rd and February the 10th. We are waiting for NHSP letter, and we got that. So let's go to the Roy. We have not opened this hearing, so this is the first time we open it. So the quorum is everyone. Roy?
Good evening. So what we have here, I can share my screen.
Yes, please.
With the plan. So here. Everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay, so what has happened here is the owners approached us, and as you can see in your filing package, there's some photos of this entire property being overwashed in a lot of the last few storms over the last big king high tides. The area behind the seawall shown, which is basically anywhere there's not vegetation is lowered about between 6 inches and a foot, not 7 feet. So just to be clear, so they came to me looking to see if they could just do it administratively, and of course they can't. So we filed a notice of intent to bring in sand to bring the level back up to the back of the wall. The yardages and quantities are shown. The way we're going to get here is we're going to bring the sand in through their driveway. We're going to dump it in the driveway. Then we're going to use either wheelbarrows or very small backhoe like a bobcat to bring the sand in and even it out behind here. In doing that, they also have an existing staircase. All this project is licensed, by the way, and they have an existing stairway, as you can see in the detail, which terminates on a bunch of big rocks, and the drop is about 2 feet. And so what we're proposing to do is extend the existing stairs in the same footprint with regular stairs in order for people to safely get down to the beach. This area has lost approximately 3 to 4 feet of sand since the last dredging project way back when along this entire shorefront. A lot of these walls are starting to tip. Luckily, this wall was fixed and licensed with rocks in front of it, and we feel it's a very basic project. Any grass that's disturbed on the way in, which we don't foresee, delivering the sand and materials for the stairs will be replanted. And I can take any questions.
Thank you, Roy. Question, Angela.
Yeah, I have a question. I understand the project. I actually walked it because it's right next to the beach there. And there's a lot of erosion that's happening between the beach area and this property. And you do see that there's a hole and there's sand missing. My concern is I'm happy with the same footprint and I believe something needs to be done here. But if we bring all that sand in and fill it, is that alone going to be enough for it not washing out the next high tide or king storm or what? Because now doesn't this fall under land subject to coastal storm flowage? And how are you going to, work on this wall to keep it from, I get it, you want to put new stairs in, but is that going to really stop the water getting up there? Is that the only way the water is getting up there and washing the sand out, or was it actually coming over the wall? So that's my question.
So it comes over the wall. If you look in the photos, the entire front of all these properties was underwater.
Right.
This is a serious problem here. I've inspected 5 or 6 of these walls. They all have issues. A lot of the people just can't afford to go forward or think that it's actually a town wall, which it was kind of a public project, but it's no longer that. And there's separate licenses, like the license to fix this jetty, I think was filed by the town at the terminus of the beach. The best thing that could happen here is the whole channel and everything's dredged again and we dump 1 million yards of sand out here or something great. Other than that, it would be really nice to get an order of conditions that says we can restore this sand in perpetuity, which would be great. This is not intended because of where high tide is and everything. Only thing we could do at this point is we could put sand on the rocks on the wall and have it washed in over and over, very similar to any new wall that's built anywhere on the Cape. That's in the order of conditions that you have to bring in 10 to 20 yards of sand a year. That would help all these beaches. Most of these people don't have access that you can do that from. So it's a bigger problem. And
I understand that.
Yeah.
So just in what's in front of us for this NOI, you gave 3 options. Which one are you advocating for here that isn't just going to wash the sand away is what I'm asking.
It's the third option. We're going to put the sand in. We're going to, if able, and the commission can decide that to put in the order of conditions that we can bring sand in perpetuity. My guess is they would probably bring in sand every other year. It's not that expensive. And that sand would help the downstream drift and to restore these beaches. As you know, I've been here for a long time, and some years you can walk your dog down the whole thing on the ground. And this is a public right of way, by the way, the entire wall. So if anybody ever does want to walk it to look at all the walls, some people think they
Well,
own
it
it.
actually says private property do not cross
It's
here.
not.
But anyways, that's another
I know.
issue.
I know.
Thank you for your explanation, what you're asking. I still don't think fixing the stairs will fix the sand problem, but I'd
No.
like to hear from the other commissioners. Thank you.
Bill?
The diagram says that I guess the seawall is 5.5 feet high. Is that right?
Yeah, the top of the seawall is 7.
The top,
the top of the existing wall is 7. The elevation of the sand varies from. Get a zoom in. It says. I'll zoom in. .5 is like where a lot of the stairway comes out, and that's the low point in the sand. So we're putting approximately 6 inches to 1.5 feet of sand in behind the wall.
it seems to me like having a higher seawall would help. Have you considered that?
So so they didn't want to do that. When I proposed it to them, I basically said, you can raise the wall around and the groin around the whole property. And because it's in the same footprint, it's a very thing to license and permit. They didn't want to go that route at this point. Cost prohibitive. And plus that seawall on the side is on town. It's town. It's not theirs.
It just, as Angela is suggesting, it just seems like you're going to be just dumping sand. It's going to wash in, and you're hoping maybe we can just do that in perpetuity. There's something that doesn't feel right about allowing it in perpetuity. I would think.
Okay. That's fine.
I would think jacking up the wall would be better, but that's.
Well, jacking up, if you jack up one wall, you have to jack up all, because you'd be forcing water to other properties. Right. And you're talking probably a $5 to $10 million project for the entire facility.
I guess I'm okay with the idea of dumping some sand, but I feel uncomfortable with some in perpetuity clause.
And we're fine with that. That's just a request.
Okay, Rob.
My question is, when you do the sand, are you going to be like flat with the top of the wall, like at the same elevation, or would you attempt to build like a large berm and plant beach grass on it?
So there historically, beach grass won't survive here because the waves come right across it. We looked at that in all the properties that do have more sand there, and the vegetation fringe, as shown, is going to go back to that no matter what you do. We're going to lose this sand within 3 years and everything that's planted on it. To put a dune there is a viable alternative. I think it's going to get washed away.
But would it slow the process down?
No. I mean, you could put more sand in. We could double the amount of sand and plant it, and then it would last twice as long.
Well, I think every alternative that we've talked about is a Band-Aid. I think the real thing.
See, what's happening here is this corner over here where it says 5.5. Yeah. The sand is so low, it's exposed the rock. So the sand is actually, when it floods, is channeling right through the groin here. So, to rebuild the whole thing is down the road. And I think every single structure here has to get raised. I've been out on this wall, and I forget which hurricane that was, not Bob, but the other one. And the water was like straight up over it, waves breaking. And, the property here are going to have to do something eventually, whether it be I proposed raising the wall with it's a kick out lip. So it takes the waves and shoots them back out. Mm-hmm. Provincetown has, and a lot of them, but right now, this is what's proposed.
Thank you. Pete?
Yeah, rising sea levels, increasing severity of storms also associated with climate changing. Keep it simple. They're asking for sand. Sure. Let's get along. Let's get on with this.
I agree. It's a quick fix and it's a Band-Aid, but if we all agree on it, I understand this is what's being asked and what we can do.
You're on.
No, I just agree with Angela and Pete on that. I was going to say, it ain't the long-term fix that we would like to see, but it is better than what's there, and it's the right thing to do. So I'm okay with it. And I would say you come back I agree with Bill, the perpetuity issue, but you come back in 3 years, ask for an extension, it's going to give you 6 years. So,
right. I mean,
in
the meantime, during that 3 years, if you need to add some more sand, I think you can under the existing order conditions.
Great.
And then as far as the stairs go, we got to make them safer because this is a slippery mess there and they're uneven now and going to nowhere when the high tide. I get it.
It's probably not a negative from an environmental point of view.
It is not.
So I'm okay with that too, Angel.
Yeah. So let me say under the wetland under the Division of Fishery and Wildlife, the NHSP letter. Under the Wetland Protection Act, the division has determined that this project will not adversely affect the actual resource area habitat of state-listed rare wildlife. And then under the MESA, the division has determined that this project will not result in a prohibited take of a state-listed rare species. Channel 18, any public comment on this one?
Seeing none.
Could I have a motion to approve this project as submitted?
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Abadili.
Aye.
DeMello.
Aye.
Hearn.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Kashulik.
Aye.
Sampu.
Aye.
And Tangney, aye. That's unanimous, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
Ed, anyone representing the Pamela Robinson here under the RDA?
70 Maple Street.
I haven't seen anybody. Again, is anybody here from PLJ Carpentry?
I actually
70 Maple Street.
I called and spoke to someone there, and she was going to try and get on the meeting. I sent her the Zoom link, but I have not seen her yet.
I think this is a relatively straightforward project.
And do you think we can approve this without an applicant?
I would say you could probably do that. That's up to you, but
yeah,
it seems like a very straightforward, very simplistic project. That's not. It's buffer zone only. So.
Right. And many times Tom would simply say, if you don't want to talk about it, commission can ask questions. So maybe there are questions from some kind.
So let me go back and read that again, and then we can open it and see whether there's any other questions. Of Pamela Robinson, remove and replace the existing deck located at the back of the property for a new 20 by 30 deck at 70 Maple Street, West Barnstable, as shown on Assessors Map 132, parcel 021-002. This is a small extension from the existing deck, and it's all outside the 50, between the 50 and 100. You're seeing on the plan there. Yeah. So it's fairly straightforward. Any question from the commissioner?
Mine was just, it's already a disturbed area there, so I'm good with this.
Channel 18, any public comment on this one?
Seeing none.
None. Could I have a motion to approve this project as a negative determination?
Second.
Roll call.
Abadili.
Aye.
DeMello.
Aye.
Hearn.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Kashulik.
Aye.
Sampu.
Aye.
And Tangney, aye. That's unanimous for negative determination, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. We have one set of minutes, February the 3rd.
Yes, I make a motion to accept the minutes from February the 3rd.
So move.
Second.
Roll call.
Abadili.
Aye.
DeMello.
Aye.
Hearn.
Aye.
Kashulik.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Sampu.
Aye.
And Tangney, aye. That's unanimous. The minutes have been accepted.
Our next hearing is at 6:30 on March the 3rd. Could I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Abadili.
Aye.
DeMello,
Aye.
Hearn,
Aye.
DeShulik,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Sampu,
Aye.
Tangney, aye. That's unanimous, Mr. Chair. Unanimous, Mr. Chair. It's 8:09.